Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 and see how it compares against the Samsung Galaxy S23 and see which particular phone you should go and pick up. Now, I will definitely tell you these two phones are very different than one another, and we'll talk about the pros and cons between both. The big thing to kind of keep in mind here for the most part is that between both, the Galaxy S23 is a cheaper phone and it's more of a comfortable phone to use for a lot of people. The Flip 6 is a more up-to-date device. It has better internals here and there, but let's go and see which one's the better one. If you want to pick up either one of these devices, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both of these particular phones, the Samsung Galaxy S23, which came out back in 2023, on the front of this phone has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display. This phone I think looks very good. It's still a very sharp looking panel. It doesn't get the brightest, 1750, which is not terrible, but it's still a good looking device. You still have a 120Hz display on this type of phone, which is really nice. You're getting the hole punch display at the very top, very thin bezels around it, and I do think this is a very, very good type of looking phone, and I'm still a massive fan of the way this phone looks. So from that side, it's one of those kind of big things to keep in mind, because as you're going through and buying a phone, this type of phone is probably more comfortable to hold. With the Galaxy Flip 6 on the other hand, this is a different type of device. So on the front, you have two different panels. So you have that 3.4-inch Super AMOLED display, but then you're also getting a 6.7-inch foldable display, like when you unfold it. And that is probably the panel you're going to look at the most. The cover display is nice, it gets fairly bright for the most part, but that front unfolded display is very, very nice. So with that type of display, it's 6.7 inches, very, very large, 1080p. It is, giving you 2600 nits of brightness, which is very, very large amount of brightness to kind of have. And for a lot of people, that is a very big thing. Being able to go through and have that type of, brightness to kind of go up to is very nice. And once again, I'm a big, massive fan of that type of capability. So that right there is another very, very big thing going on here too. On the bottom, they're both giving you USB Type-C ports, which is really great. The Galaxy S23, it's kind of flat on the sides, which is nice. It's kind of like curved flat. It's kind of an interesting design. Whereas on the Flip 6, it's completely flat, which is a little bit more modern, but both these phones were like kind of flat for the most part. So they both were giving you very, very good feeling phones on the side. On the back side, depending on how you look at it, you're getting frosted glass backs basically on both, although the Flip 6 is giving you that, screen as you're unfolding it. You're getting a dual camera setup on the back of the Flip 6, where the Galaxy S23 is giving you a triple camera setup. Like I said, frosted glass backs on both, IP certification on both as well, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging on both too. So there's still a lot of capability here and a lot of nice things going on between both these devices, which again is very, very nice to have. Is there a perfect phone here? Probably not. But I would say that the design of the Galaxy S23 is probably a lot more comfortable to hold for the average person rather than the Galaxy Flip 6. I think the Flip 6 is still good and it's still great and everything, but if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, the Galaxy S23, like I said before, is probably going to be a more comfortable phone to hold than the Flip 6. So from that side, that kind of covers it up here for the most part. Now, on top of that, another big thing to keep in mind is that with the Galaxy Flip 6, this is a more expensive phone than the S23. So the S23 is costing like around $350-ish to go and pick up. The Flip 6 is costing about $1,900 or $1,099. So it's like $1,100 versus like less than $400. That is a very big difference. The S23 has been out for a little bit of time, so it makes sense why that's, significantly cheaper. But it's still very crazy when you kind of think about it, because there are lots of reasons why the S23 is probably the more premium phone than the Flip 6, which takes us right into the camera comparison. With the Galaxy S23, this camera on the back is a triple camera setup. It's a 50 megapixel wide, 10 megapixel telephoto, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. Where the Galaxy Flip 6 is a 50 megapixel wide and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. And what I can tell you about the camera comparison between these two is that the Galaxy S23's camera is giving you a really good, filming resolution that you can kind of get within it. So the Galaxy S23 is giving you 8K capability on the back and 4K at 60 on the front. The Galaxy, Flip 6 is giving you 4K at 60 on the back and 4K at 60 on the front. And in my personal opinion, like if I'm going to go through and pick up a camera, and if I'm going to use one on both, the Galaxy, S23 is probably going to be the better one in my personal opinion than the Galaxy Flip 6. I mean, you're getting high resolutions you can film in on the back. You're getting, higher frame rate in some cases too. But also another big thing to keep in mind here is that with the camera quality, like the Galaxy S23 is giving you that telephoto lens as well. The Galaxy Flip 6 is not giving you a telephoto lens. So that right there is another very big thing to keep in mind here too. And if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, like it only makes sense to go and buy a phone like the Samsung Galaxy, S23 rather than buying the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6. So that right there is another very big thing to keep in mind. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but as I mentioned before, it's another very, very big popular thing to kind of keep in mind in the back of your head. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now from the, software longevity comparison, this could probably be the claim that you can make of why the Galaxy Flip 6 is better. Presumably, the Galaxy Flip 6 is probably going to last many more years on top of the Galaxy S23. Although the S23 is only like 1 year older than the Flip 6, you're not going to be getting just like one extra software update. Because Samsung switched out their life cycle recently, there's a big chance where something like the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 is going to last many years on top of the Galaxy S23. So this in and of itself could be the big reason why the S23 is, maybe not as good as a Flip 6. If you are going to go through and pick up a phone, for some people out there, it might make more sense to go and buy something like the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 rather than the Galaxy S23 if you're wanting to buy a phone that's going to last you for many more years. But even at that, I probably would recommend everyone to go and buy something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 over the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 in this, specific situation as well. So that in and of itself is another very, very big thing to kind of keep in mind there too. As you're going through and buying a phone, that's just kind of one of those big things to kind of keep in mind here as well. Now, from the performance side, another very big thing to kind of keep in mind here too is that between both, if you're going to go through and pick up a device, the Galaxy S23 is giving you that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset inside, with the Galaxy S23 is giving you that, 8 Gen 2 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Where something like the Samsung Galaxy, Flip 6 is giving you that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset inside with 12 gigabytes of RAM. So from the performance side, it does look like you are probably going to be getting an overall better performing phone from the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 than the Galaxy S23. But I will say the S23 still is a very good phone. You're still getting a lot of capability, a lot of quality from that type of device as well. The performance speeds of the S23 are still very good, but I will tell you the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6 is the overall better device here. The chipset is much better. There's way more RAM. Like you're getting 4 gigabytes of RAM on top of what the Galaxy, S23 is giving you. So that right there in and of itself is another very, very big thing. And I would say that's probably one of the biggest advantages you're getting. It's like the software and the performance are the two main reasons and the two main upgrades that you're getting from going from something like the Samsung Galaxy, S23 to the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6. So overall, what I definitely will tell you is I'm a massive fan of the Galaxy, S23 and the Samsung Galaxy Flip 6. I think both these phones are very, very good. But if I'm going to go through and if I'm going to pick up a device, it probably does make more sense to go and buy something like a Samsung Galaxy, S23 in my personal opinion, than a Samsung Galaxy Flip 6. I think the Flip 6 is a great phone, and it's a more expensive phone, it's a better phone, but I kind of feel like the S23 is the one I personally would probably recommend buying. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.